He's a small town mayor. He's from a flyover state. You know, he works hard. He's on a farm, bootstrapping. Like, there's something respectful and sincere and honest about just that description. And I love starting a character off like that.
I have to say, the show is so good. I watched the whole thing in a day and I immediately was like, but where's season two now? It's amazing.
I love that you feel that way. Thank you. I watched the whole season in 2 nights with my wife, and I have a hard. I'm not a great judge of stuff I'm in, so I turned her at the end, and she was like, "Oh my God, people are gonna love this." So
Yes.
I hope you guys are both correct.
So the first question I have for you, when you read the script, why did you kind of immediately gravitate towards this character? What spoke to you with him?
You know, I didn't even read the script. I got a call from Rena Mamoon, who is our showrunner, and I'd worked with her previously on an unproduced series, and I'd worked with Julie Plec also on Dawson's Creek 30 years ago, 20 something years ago. Um, and Rena said, you know, there's this character we think you'd be great for. He's a small town mayor with big political ambitions. He's a veteran. And I said, okay, what's his name? And she said, well, right now, hot white guy. And I was like, Rena, I'm past the point in my career where I play like guy in the bleachers. Like, I got to have a name. She's like, no, I know. We haven't come up with one yet. We need something to clear. And I think it was probably 3 episodes in before they pulled me aside and they're like, okay, Hayden Wells Garrett. And I thought, like, Jesus, I don't know if I like this guy or hate him. You know, I love the idea of playing a character that everybody initially likes, or the majority of people initially like, right? Like, he's a veteran. He's a small town mayor. He's from a flyover state. You know, he works hard. He's on a farm, bootstrapping. Like, there's something respectful and sincere and honest about just that description. And I love starting a character off like that and then knowing that there's going to be some sort of transition. And that's so interesting for me to play.
I immediately was like, oh, he seems great. Like that, you're right. That immediately was my thought.
That's it. You know, like, it's great. And for me, the other great thing was there were such similar parallels just in military veteran, small town mayor with big political aspirations. I was like, oh, I can spend hours on YouTube watching Buttigieg and I will have a great, you know, field of vision for who this guy is.
Oh, I love that. And then you're no stranger to this genre with your past work on Scandal. One of the things I'm curious about, A, what can Scandal fans like get excited for the show? But B, what were you excited to explore with this character that's very different from the character you played in Scandal?
I think Scandal fans can be excited because they're, you know, I know this this sort of field of vision, right? I know the political world when it comes to being on television. And I love doing it. I think it's so much fun. But the great difference for me is Scandal was heavy. It was very serious. People were dying. And, you know, this is a story set in the same world, but told with much more levity. And I think that's really appealing, especially for where we are now politically.
I think one of the things that's very cool about this character is there's this hidden depth to him. What can you talk to me a little bit about laying the groundwork through nuance for the revelations that happen later in the season without like tipping your hand in the early episodes?
There was something very simple about him in the beginning. And and in order to earn what comes later and earn the I don't know if it's surprise or interest in the character, he had to be almost basic, you know, like
Yeah.
you had to really like him. And so to do that, there were a couple things that I did, you know, aside from just the sort of aw shucks guy, the way that I interacted, the way that Hayden interacted with the Sadie character was almost, flirtatious is not the right word, but when you want something from somebody, like he did with her, you know, story, attention, it's what all politicians need from journalists. Talk about it, do something to make them feel, to make the journalist feel important, wanted. You are the one I want to tell my story. You look great. Those earrings are fantastic. Whatever it may be, those are the little subtleties that I tried to put in that weren't necessarily in the script.
It worked very well. And that actually rolls perfectly into my next question. You shared such great scenes with Melissa. I'm curious what she brought to the table as both a scene partner and a producer.
It's a great question because I always say you can step on a set and the number one on the call sheet, which in this case was her, the lead of the show, sets the tone of the set. If you can walk on a set and if something's tense, you can almost point directly to the lead actor. If something's nice and easy, you can point to the lead actor. And I was so lucky going back to Scandal with Kerry Washington. She set an amazing tone, and I felt sort of spoiled by that. Since Scandal, I've done a couple shows where I was the lead, and my main goal was not to be a good actor, was not to do anything, but to make a comfortable, warm, professional set. And I'm not sure I succeeded nearly as well as Carrie or Melissa. They both just sort of, it was so effortless with Melissa. She's a producer on this. She's the lead actress. I'd never worked with her before. It didn't seem to be a problem. She was great. Knew her lines, welcoming to me, quiet when we needed to be, talkative and funny when not. She was a great co-worker, and I'm hoping that we get a second season because I really enjoyed working with her.
I hope so too, and I'm sure you set a fantastic tone.
I don't know. I can be a little uptight sometimes.
And then this is such a phenomenal cast across the board. Is there anyone that you wish you'd been able to share more scenes with and hopefully might be able to in a second season?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched Griffin Dunn since I was a kid. I remember I told him this. I did a Broadway show after we wrapped this, and he came to the premiere of it, and we didn't really have a chance to interact at all on the first season of Girls on the Bus. And I said to him, I said, "Oh my God, I watched American Werewolf in London or Paris, whatever it was, when I was a kid, or I started to watch it with my family. And the first thing you said had a curse word in it. My dad initially quickly shut it off. And he said the line. He was like, "Oh yeah, I remember the line." He is truly one of those journeyman actors that I think I could learn a ton from. And I would jump at the chance to work with him again.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I could talk about this show all day.
It's good. Please do. Talk about it all day.
Well, I am today, so.
Me too.